Hello everyone and welcome back on my YouTube channel. I'm Thomas Etchel and today I want to talk to you about the new OpenAI ChatGPT Ads Manager. And I want to walk you through, I want to give you optimization tips and tricks that nobody has told you yet. And this video comes right on time because on the 18th of August, everything changed in the PPC industry. OpenAI published that ChatGPT Ads is rolling out into 31 European markets. And they didn't say exactly which ones, but they said Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, Austria, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Poland are included. And users start seeing ads from August 24th. And now ready for Europe. Before we dive into the ChatGPT Ads Manager, I want to show you the official announcement of OpenAI. Here we have the official announcement of OpenAI, where they say ChatGPT ads are expanding across Europe. And as you see, we have 31 European markets. Very important is to say that initially, OpenAI will only grant advertisers access to ChatGPT ads through the OpenAI Ad Solution team and agency partner, but very soon the self-service access through Ads Manager will follow later this summer. But that is not that bad because right now everyone can set up a OpenAI Ads Manager and already play around. And if your company is, for example, not from the US, but from United Kingdom, then you can already use the ChatGPT Ads Manager because, for example, United Kingdom is already part of the countries that can set up a ChatGPT Ads account. So here we are in the Ads Manager beta account of ChatGPT. And as you can see right here, I set up the account without entering any billing information because right now, European companies are not yet ready to set it up, but next week it will start. So I have to wait until next week to put my Spanish billing setup ready. But you can already sign up to the Ads Manager beta. Don't put your billing setup right now, and then you can start playing around and setting up your account. You can start setting up campaigns. You can start setting up your conversion tracking. And yeah, I would say let's start with the campaigns. So right now here on the left side you have campaigns, tools, billing, settings. If we go to the campaigns, we have quite a similar setup as in Google Ads, campaigns, ad groups, and ads. And for example, I'm gonna create now my first campaign. I can also upload it in bulk if I want. There are special files for it. So yeah, let's start. First of all, ChatGPT gives you an AI-generated version of your company and already sets, for example, daily budget of $100, location for these campaigns, different objectives. But yeah, we obviously want to create it from scratch, right? So here we would put just a name. Now we have 3 different objectives, meaning 3 different bid strategies also. We can go for reach, CPM bidding, we can go for clicks bidding, and we can go for conversions. We have to first have obviously a conversion event also set. But let's start, for example, with a click event, and then later we can check out the conversions. So for now, as I said, you can target, for example, European countries. So I can target, let's say I go with Austria, and I deselect United States, so I have a campaign for Austria. What's very cool and also new, you can have negative locations. I think that's very important. We also have seen it in Google Ads that negative locations are very important, especially for PMAX and demand gen campaigns, or for search campaigns where you forget to set the location option correct, right? And then when you look in GA4 or your third-party attribution tool, you will see that you will have traffic from a lot of different countries, but not the country that you target. Then, so that's very important. If I, for example, would go for Austria, I have a, let's say, a German-speaking campaign, and my business is only serving in Austria, then it would make sense here to, for example, exclude Germany or Switzerland even to have the targeting even more bulletproof. Then I have eligible platforms, okay? So by default, we have all platforms selected. That means iOS, Android, and web. But in different circumstances, it makes sense that you, for example, only select the web, Android, or iOS. Let's say you're B2B and you know that your clients are using during the week, during the working hours, laptops or computers, and they're probably not scrolling on the mobile app or Android app. So it would make sense for B2B that I go with web. For example, B2C, it's probably good that you use apps, iOS, Android, and also web, but that's something you would need to test out. If you know that, for example, the average order value or the conversion rate is way better on iOS because your Android app sucks a bit, then I would always go for iOS and, for example, web, depending on what your business is. And try to optimize here. If you have a small budget, then I would not recommend to set up different campaigns by platforms. I would keep it together. But if your budget allows, for example, if you have a big budget and you can afford to have, for example, one test campaign for iOS app, one campaign for web, and one for Android, then it will probably make sense to optimize to test that out. You can also set the campaign total budget, something that in Google Ads we had to fight, for example, for PMAX campaign and search campaigns, but now we also have it. So yeah, this is very nice, but it can also be a pitfall. Somebody might think that, for example, the campaign daily budget is the total one, and then set here instead of 100, 1000, for example. So yeah, here we have to pay attention. Then let's say this is all set, we go to next ad group. Then here we have our ad group. Also here you can create different ad groups. I think that's also recommended, that you segment your campaigns with different ad groups to have better targeting, because you have here the context hints that I'm going to explain now. First of all, here we have bid strategy, right? So we clicked on objective clicks, and now we have here the bid strategy maximize results. So that's like a max clicks bid strategy, and the manual CPC. And here, for example, everything above 3 and 3 is considered that is strong. And if you go, for example, to 2.5, then ChatGPT will say you may not deliver, your bid is too low. So you can have, if we want to have max CPC, then at least 3 in the beginning. And then if we see that we are easy spending our daily budget and we want to optimize a bit, then we can always push it lower, right? So in order to save costs and get more clicks in. For example, if I would go for max clicks, then yeah, ChatGPT will automatically adjust the bid to get the most results out from your budget. But let's say I go with a max CPC of 3. Then here I have advanced settings for this ad group. And this is, if I click here on create audience, then a new window opens, and here I can create a new first party audience. Here you can call it whatever you want, and then here it's the identifier type. Depending on what kind of data you want to upload, is always SHA256 hash, and you can upload it via CSV or text file up to 500 megabyte. And in this case, I don't want it because I don't have the first party data ready, so we use without it. Then we have our ad destination. This is our link, right? Put mine here. And now comes a very important thing, the context hints. In Google Ads, we have audiences. In Google Ads, we have topics, we have keywords, we have negative keywords. In ChatGPT, we don't have that, right? We have just location targeting, we have some first-party data audiences, and we have context hints. So in here, we have positive keywords, negative keywords, topics we want to describe, topics we don't want to target. So this is a very important box here. So let's make an example in order to get this right. If I would be let's say a CRM software sales tool, let's say like that, with a pipeline management. So this would be a bad example, right? Because I don't tell ChatGPT a lot about my business. I don't exclude negative keywords. I don't exclude topics. I just say what I am, but in a very vague way. And since I want to maximize out my performance on ChatGPT, I have to make this right. For example, a strong context hint would be that a sales manager at a 50 to 200 person B2B company comparing CRM platforms because their current tool does not sync with their outbound sequencing, and reporting takes hours to assemble manually. So here I think this is a stronger version, because here I already limit my audience and tell exactly what problems I solve and who is my ideal buyer, right? I would say you use one good context hint per ad group, and then, for example, we could create a new ad group with a similar one, but like trying to test out different limits, different audiences. I would recommend that you use one good context hint per ad group, but have up to 5 ad groups per campaign usually, and try to play around with the context hints, and then you see which ad group performs better. And you can always come in to an ad group that didn't work so well, and then adjust your context hint. But yeah, very important that this is not just positive, but it's also for a negative targeting, right? So I could say the sales manager ideally is ready to pay 100 euros upwards for the new CRM tool, something like that. Okay, so we already have something negative and we limit our audience. If you have one good context hint with topics or also keywords in it, in order to give maximum context for the algorithm. So now we go to the ad. So we have here the ad. We can hear the destination URL. You can also use different query parameter if you want. We have one title that goes up to 50 characters, different to Google Ads, where we have 30, and one description that goes up to 100, different to Google Ads, where we have 40. Then you can also have one ad image, and yeah, it should have at least 256 to 256 pixels. And then you see the ad preview here, and also the link if it works. So you can have, obviously, under one ad group, you can have different ads, and if you click on them, you will see it always pre-populates and then goes on. That's really cool that you can have different bid strategies on ad groups in order to test them, which is something that we don't really have in Google. You can use different target CPAs, so target ROAS, goals, but not really different bid strategies. So that's something new that you will find out. And here on the review, you have again your campaign summary. You can check again your average daily budget or total budget, and then you can publish the campaign. In this case, it won't get published because I don't have a bidding set up. All right, once you have published your campaign, you will see the status, if it's serving or not. Very similar to a meta ads interface also. And yeah, on the left side, we have tools. Here you set up your conversion. I will create after this video a conversion tracking setup video tutorial for you. So subscribe to this video and you will see in the next round how to set up your first ChatGPT pixel. It's very easy. You just have to see it first once. We also have different feeds. You can create feeds here, upload them for your product if you're e-com, either via CSV or text. Files, hosted URLs, and also SFTP connections all here. We have a change history, very similar to Google Ads, where you have activity, item, detail, user, and time. And we also have here the first party audiences that I showed you before. Then we have the billing setup with overview, activity, document settings, very similar to Google Ads, and the general settings and user settings where you can find your API keys. You can have your account name, logo, time zone, and then you can also see here the users and invite users to your account. So yeah, this is really an easy interface for now, and I would say we are ready, right, to build our ChatGPT ads in Europe. So see you in the next video where we talk about conversion tracking for ChatGPT.